The American dream is dying, and a new way of defining success as an American is taking form. In today's video, we'll be talking about how the American dream that my generation grew up trying to live turned into a nightmare for most, and how future generations have started to redefine the new American dream. On this channel, I discuss living globally along with business hacks in real estate and healthcare, showing you a path so that you can do the same. I want you to be able to live your dreams. If this is the sort of content that you want more of, like, subscribe, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss a thing. My name is Carl Pierre, and this is ENTP Life. I know when I present the cons of America, I get negative comments where people suggest I should go back to Africa or leave the country altogether. So for anyone who doesn't like what I'm about to say, kick rocks with your shoes off and continue to live your life the way that you want. The historical romanticized American dream sounds something like this. Go to college, get a profession, get married, have kids, work 40 hours or more per week with only 2 weeks of vacation off, pay hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, and when you're 70 and your joints and reproductive parts don't work, kick up your feet and start enjoying life. I always knew that I wanted to retire early because this idea of retiring when I was too old to do anything never made sense to me. The idea of working for a company for 30 years or more, giving up the most productive years of your life in exchange for potentially Social Security income or a pension never really rang through to me. I always knew that I was going to do things my own way. And there's so many people who kind of value that model of become a six-figure earner or more, get a stable job with good healthcare benefits, 401k match or a pension, if they even still provide pensions at companies nowadays. People who've subscribed to this, I don't understand how they ended up going down this path. Now, the American dream used to be appealing because everybody wants to have their own life, their own place, their own land. And what you end up getting is a house with annoying neighbors, nothing but nonstop ending bills. And you start to feel as you're going through this process that's supposed to be, success, that life doesn't feel happy this way. And we really realize it a little too late. And that's where that midlife crisis comes from. Me being almost 40 years old, and a lot of the people in my age group, my peers, my friends, are around the same age. They've gotten married, they've kind of been following the script, and so many of them are unhappy with what they're doing in their lives. Many of them are saying that they wish they never married their partners because they're not seeing life the same way, or they never wish that they studied what they studied in college. So many people have gone into debt going to college, pursuing career paths or even majors that don't make any money, for them to be working a dead-end job or a job that they feel is just nothing but monotonous, repetitive work, and are finding themselves to have nothing but debt and unhappiness. A lot of us have followed this path because we were taught that in school, or we were taught that by our parents. And for my generation, or for people who are like me, whose parents were immigrants, coming to America and being able to find a job, get a family going, was really a good sign of success. Coming from Haiti and moving to the United States, it's like night and day. And I totally understand why they would have that idea that I should kind of pursue that same track, because those options just didn't exist for them in their home country. And America provided them with a lot of opportunity that they normally wouldn't have. When I talked to my dad, he said him just coming to America in his 20s, he already succeeded with all he wanted to do in his life. He's able to provide for himself, he was able to provide for his family, and he felt that he got the most out of it. But me, as a spoiled American dude who was born in the States, I started to really find issues with everything that was going on there. I really am not a fan of the social issues that are in the United States. And I really don't like that Americans, and most Americans, are kind of living in a bit of a bubble world where everything works really well and life is fairly good. And I don't feel like it's representational of what real life is like, especially for the majority of the people on this planet. You see, there's this pyramid of the hierarchy of needs. And the higher up on this pyramid, where you're able to reflect on your life, you're not worried about your basic needs and survival, you start to think about what is the meaning of this life and what should I be doing, because you're not worried about where you're getting your next meal. A lot of Americans are living in that higher state where they're trying to realize what life is all about. And when they get to examine it and look at what their life is like, they realize that they haven't really been living for them. They've been living this model or this presentation that was given to them, and it's not really what they wanted. But the difficult thing is, since they're in so much debt and their entire identity is wrapped into this life that they've created, they're so afraid of abandoning that comfort and walking away from what they've built because they think somehow their family's going to fall apart or society's going to turn on them and shun them. And this is really the cause of a lot of stress for a lot of people. In talking to other people who are on the brink of losing their mind, trying to find success and happiness in this model of American living, I realized something. Americans have it really sweet and don't have to play this game. Instead, many are choosing to hack the American system and live their own dreams rather than doing it the old way. Not everything is rotten in America. Obviously, things in America are really good. Me being someone who started businesses in other countries and has lived in different parts of the world, I realized that things function really well in the United States. Like, you go to a state office or a DMV, even though it could be really annoying, they work so much better than international systems. There's so much less bureaucracy there. Things just flow a little bit better. Things are a little more organized. A lot of processes are shortened compared to other countries where there's less red tape. The United States is extremely business friendly, and forming a new business, getting money for your business, all things really flow nicely. But just because they flow nicely and life is really comfortable doesn't mean that it's for everybody. What I'm finding in talking to people who've actually upped and removed themselves from America and started living in other countries, a lot of them are using the revenue that they've generated from their work and their activity in the United States to fund their life somewhere else, taking advantage of the exchange rate and the value differences in our currency, as well as taking advantage of the cost of living differences in other countries. For example, my life in Medellin cost me about a third of what it would cost me living in the United States. All that extra money I'm able to push into other investment vehicles, whether it's back into the United States to produce more income or to locally invest in new projects. Now, people at home who are like super pro-American and can't even think about living life somewhere else and who can't even imagine why somebody would want to leave America, the reason is that they're able to just do so much more once they're able to leave. Just because someone has left doesn't mean that they need to somehow abandon everything that they've worked on their entire life. There's people who have built a good life, have generated that pension, got that 401k plan, and are able to now live in any place that they want to live and use their money that they've earned through their hard work to fund their lifestyle somewhere else, a lifestyle that's more fitting for them. When I talk to people about potentially taking advantage of this global exchange and removing themselves from the United States and potentially living in someplace else that's either more attractive to them or cheaper for them and their family, I think they don't realize how good they have it and how the American system is actually set up for them to do this with ease. For example, when I get told, why don't you go back to Africa? I think, okay, I probably can, and I could probably do so using American debt. It's not impossible for me to go ahead and get, a credit card or a loan and potentially start a business in an emerging city in Africa and actually have a head start compared to the Africans that are there. It's not actually a bad idea. So if you're able to really plan out what you're going to do and what sort of life that you want to have, you can use your resources that are available to you as an American or as an American resident, use that debt, use that access to our economy, use our low unemployment rate and the ability to work and save money so that you could go back to another country, whether it's your native country from where your family's from, or a country that you've always thought about living in, like Thailand, and be able to monetize what you've done in the United States or extract value from that money in a new country. Whether it's opening a coffee shop, bringing that same American vibrancy to a new country, you're able to take advantage of what America has offered, put a twist on the system, and then get yourself ahead in the way that you want. See, the key here is not to sit around bashing America and saying that America is somehow this bad country. In many ways, it's not. It has its problems, like all countries do, but you need to be able to sit there and say, what do I really want for myself? Let me not fall into this ideology that the country teaches or that's taught in schools or that's just commonly accepted, and let me craft the life that I actually want to have. And if that life is living elsewhere or even within the United States, just in a different region, you should be able to go ahead and do that and live according to your own rules, the way that you want to live, so that you have ultimately achieved success in your own way and you'll end up being happier. Thanks for joining me here at ENTP Life. Like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you know that's thinking about redefining the American dream so that they can find their happiness pursuing their own dreams. Until the next one, take care.